Four, three, two, one. Well, welcome back to another episode of 2462. This will be episode 3. This is how we're going to keep track of it, okay?
Yes.
I am Officer Steven.
Officer Mike. Oh.
Mike. Oh.
Sorry, you don't want to shorten it.
And we're going to give you a little interesting episode today because I think last week we talked about going to the hospital.
Why is it episode 3?
It's episode 3.
What happened to episode 2?
Episode 2 was last week.
What happened to episode 1?
It was 2 weeks ago.
Has it been that long already?
Yeah, dude. What do you...
I don't remember 2 being up there. Sorry.
Oh, it's because I put episode 1 plus 1.
Oh, that's right. That's like I don't remember seeing a 2.
Simple maths.
Simple maths. Quick maths.
But so last week we were talking about the hospital, our involvement in the hospital, and you
hospitals.
mentioned earlier. You mentioned last week that one of the reasons why we go to the hospital is because of crazy people.
And
Or-
lo and behold, what does it say up there?
Well, what we're gonna talk about? Crazy people.
Crazy PPO.
And then that kind of goes into an incident that happened in Georgia. We'll go over it real quick, explain a couple things about it, and then but it is nuts. This whole incident itself, like
And if you haven't seen the video, I recommend going to go watch it. It's
Yeah,
pretty,
that's
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Maybe I could put it up.
It's not good for. Well, you can see if we can put a hyperlink.
oh yeah, or I can put it up somewhere maybe. But I'm like, hey, watch this real quick.
Hey,
But it's some crazy
Don't
stuff.
black right here.
My editing skills aren't that
And
good.
we're back to the.
All right, man. Well, on the topic of crazy people, before we get into it, there's this happened recently, right? And it happened recently. I remember because you got so worked up because the details came out really crazy.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about?
The dude in the river?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
What was that about?
the best way to put it is it was a pretty slow day that day. Nothing was really going on, and
Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about that day. Super simple day. Very nice. Very chill. Kind of slow. No calls coming in. Enjoyable days like you want to have.
mhm.
But then just out of nowhere, the dude's like, I see a dead body.
So he calls in, and he gave some like gruesome details though. I think that's the thing that got you like, oh, what? This could be real.
It
But,
felt like,
yeah.
whenever details come in like that, the call makes it feel though it's gonna be more true.
Yeah, because was it? So in the area that we work, we have a small like creek river. It's like a small portion of it, and so he called and said, I'm over here, and there's a small part of the creek that I'm looking at, and there's a dead body in there. And then it goes in details like I can see the head, I can see the arm, I can see the leg, but I can also see a baby.
Yeah, like he was like describing like I guess this baby was in the person's arms.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what the
I was
hell is
like,
going
yeah.
on?
And I was thinking about it. I'm always skeptical about every single call, and I'm pretty sure you know that by now. But,
Yeah.
Well, I remember you're like, oh my god, this is gonna be crazy. You know.
Hey, crazy things have happened.
Yeah.
But this was not.
You know, it's true. This wouldn't be like the craziest thing that's happened on the job, but I remember it clearly. I'm like, oh man, this sounds weird. But in the area that he was pointing out, it could have been very true.
Yeah.
Because it was very secluded. So something could have happened, and they could have been in a bad situation or something,
Yeah.
and then someone dumped a body or something. I don't know, but it was nuts. But we get there, and it took us about 5-6 minutes to find this guy.
It was really hard because he
Yeah.
didn't really describe where he was. Really at.
He's like, I'm just a part of the river, and I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm part of the river and I'm on a bike. It's like,
And
"Can't find the dude."
we eventually find him though, and I remember I'm like, I don't see anything yet.
Yeah,
was
but
like-
then I went up to him first. I'm walking up to him. I was like, "Yo, man, what's up?" And he was like, "Dead body." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "Look, man, can you see what I'm seeing?" It's like, "You see this right here?" And it was like, it kind of looked like one if it's been there for like forever.
Yeah.
But the problem was, you could tell it's not a dead body.
So in this part of the river, it was very mossy.
Very
There's a
messy.
lot of tree branches and stuff, but it was I guess kind of deep to where it was kind of like faded out deep enough. But if you look down, you like you said, it was a bunch of or like branches or roots or
Sticks.
sticks
Yeah.
that was mashed together with moss and everything. And then I remember because he was describing it, he's like, here's the head, here's the arm, here's this, here's that. And then we're standing there like, bro, we don't see it, man. Like, he's like, it's right there. He was so sure that it was right there because he was seeing it.
Yeah.
And I think at one point he's like, man, I'm telling you, I see it right there. But if you don't see it, then not, maybe I'm just seeing things. He mentioned that, so I was like, maybe. Maybe. But I find that with people like that who are not necessarily hallucinating, but in their mind, what they're seeing is really real due to either it could have been a multitude of things. He seemed like he was homeless, so there could have been something there. Either it was mental issues, or narcotics, any kind of drugs, or he was really drunk. But we had
the fire department.
yeah, the fire department responded with us.
And
We cleared them in,
Big pointy stick.
Yeah, they got their big pointy stick, and then poked it.
Nope.
I didn't see that part. Was it just no? Okay, we're
No,
gonna.
he actually it kind of looked like a hook.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. He went in there, hooked it, and brought it out. It's like, it's just a stick.
You rustled it
Just,
up.
just to make the dude feel a lot better.
Did he feel a lot better?
Yeah, he did.
He did?
Okay, good. He's not dead body.
Oh, okay, cool.
It made him feel better. Okay.
Yeah, and then he went on his way because he wasn't, harming anyone or himself. So he just seeing things in the head. But yeah, so that's a perfect example of just a crazy situation that wasn't true.
Yeah.
So if a lot of people don't know, but the first thing that we get whenever we get dispatched to a call is call details. And so based off of the call details, it's how we respond, right? And so like for that incident, we were like gun-ho trying to get there and locate this so that way we can set up a crime scene, do whatever we needed to do. Because that's crazy. You don't, not every day you find like a body in a river. That doesn't happen.
And that's a really good story to tell, but
Yeah.
if there was one.
Well, in his head, it was true. That's the thing. And, but yeah, so the first thing we get is call details. And depending, it's just, I've learned over time. Yeah, I learned over time that about 95% of what we see in the call details is you got to take it with a grain of salt. 95%. It's a high percentage, but you really have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many times that we've gotten dispatched to something that turned into something completely different, like that, for instance, or sometimes it's on point. You know what I mean? And like recently, there was an incident with a guy who was chasing a girl. We weren't involved, but the call details came out, and it was super hot. So he was beating up on this girl, and then she was running away.
Mm-hmm.
And we were down at jail this time, so we didn't get involved in it. But I'm pretty sure if we weren't down in jail, we would have been involved in that situation. But he was chasing. I'm assuming it's some kind of either girlfriend or spouse or whatever it was. But it was the neighbor calling, and the neighbor's like, "Hey man, he's chasing this girl and he's beating her up.
Yeah,
and she's bloody."
He said that he was punching her in the face.
Yep.
I mean, he made that clear. That he was like punching her
Laying it down on her, yeah, and then
and that he could see. I mean, from himself, that he could see. Yeah, she was hurt.
yeah, that she was bleeding. I'm pretty sure that's what it came out as. And then there was another one where he said, "Oh, and now he's punching a smaller kid." You know what I mean?
I think he. Well, it was like it came in like just very small, so I don't know if it was like. He just like left. And
But he
but
still hit a kid. Still hit a kid. You know.
He hit a kid.
Yeah, and then he's like, "All right, he's getting in his car." Oh man, he's trying to run the car into the house, and we're like sitting like, "What?"
Yeah, this is like.
This is getting nuts. Like that is insane.
Yeah.
And of course, the officer that did respond, he got there, and it was a crazy dude. Like he was so freaking mad about whatever it was, but he ended up getting a little electric ride, a little electric slide. So
Met Thor's buddy.
yeah, Thor's hammer,
Yeah,
except
we should call it that.
he didn't get hit with the hammer. He got just hit with the Thor's strike, or what do you want to call it?
The Thor gun.
Yeah, the Thor gun. But he got a little bit of a taser ride, and even at that point, he was still going berserk from what we could hear over the radio and everything.
Yeah.
And so, in situations like that, that's a good thing, that we got those call details as it was, and it was actually happening, because that officer responding a certain way because of those details, and that's why he was ready to pull out the taser and get this dude too. So, but it ended up well as far as no one was hurt on our end, and then the family got the treatment they needed. Yeah. Even though, from what I heard, they weren't very cooperative even after all that happening.
Really, they weren't?
Yeah.
Oh, what's up with that?
Yeah, so it just,
just trying to go down there and help, dude, beating the hell out of you, and he's like, nah, I don't want to talk to cops.
That happens so often.
It does. I'm not even. I shouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah, that. I believe it's like a hit and miss, right? So.
Yes, I never miss.
Yeah.
You had to say it.
Was it I think it goes either way. Okay, but this only happens with people who are in dating relationships. Okay, either dating relationships or they're married. But what will normally happen is, it's out there, it happens every day, and we can see it, right? So a dude beats up on a girl, and then she calls. We get there, and then this is after everything is said and done, and she's like, "Nah, I was just in the heated moment. Nothing really happened. We just argued." Even though we're like, "You sure?
You sure about that?"
Yeah, it's like, "What's that mark right there? A little chin. It looks like you got hit." "Oh, nah, nothing happened." So at that point, we can't do anything really, unless it's so blatantly obvious.
Like bloody nose.
Yeah, bloody nose. Or she's bleeding pretty bad. But we get there, and she's like, "No, nah, nothing happened." And the dude as well is like, "Nah, nothing happened." And it's like, come on now.
Come on, Meow.
It's like, we know something happened, but since there's no victim in this, we can't do anything. Our hands are tied. Now, it could go either way. I say man and woman because it's...
Or vice versa.
Yeah, it's 90%. 90% it is. But other 10%, it's flipped. We've been there. So we have situations like that where because there's a multitude of reasons, right, for what they do. Either they don't want to get the breadwinner in jail, or
dude who brings home the bacon.
Yeah.
She brings home the bread, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, so they don't want their only source of income in jail. And now, of course, whatever it is, there's a multitude of reasons. So there's that group of people, and then there's on the other side where we get on scene, and the dude would be like, "Yeah, she hit me right here, right here, right here. I'm broken arm right here." And he's pointing with that arm. "Broken arm right here, broken leg.
I got shot, but you can't see it no more."
Got shot, but I healed myself before you guys came. She's crazy. And then you go talk to the girl. He's like, "Yeah, he punched me right here. He shot me right here, but I healed too." Just in this amount of time, he pulled out a sword, stabbed me. I pulled it out. Lord behold, I healed enough time for you guys to come here. And so we'll have those, and those are, I think, those are probably one of the tougher judgment calls, if you will, just because it's a lot of he said and a lot of he said and she said.
Yeah.
And obviously there's some truth in the middle of it, but we weren't there, so swords. Hey man, who knows? Maybe they have magical healing powers that we don't know about.
Yes.
Immortals.
Yes, they have complete control over their body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Isn't there a...
Yes, but they get into fights.
Yes.
Because they're overrule
or
obligations to fight each other are greater than the superpowers that they fucking have.
Absolutely.
They do for the greater good. Yeah, okay. Anyways,
absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, believe it, man. It's probably, hey man, who knows?
Who knows what?
I'm pretty sure if there's a mortal person out there, they're not going to reveal it.
Immortal person?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend my time fighting with my woman. Okay.
You know, if you're immortal, you probably wouldn't be down there doing that. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. And
that's
I'd
true.
be having one little argument. So I got all the time in the world.
Yep.
I ain't gonna be with one
Maybe
woman.
that's why. Because, you know, one of the worst things that can happen to a person is just having a lot of time with a certain person. I say worse, but, you know, you spend a lot of time with a person and they know your ins and outs. And so they know how to push your buttons and everything. Maybe you see if they're both immortals and they just know how to easily push each other's buttons. Could see it happen.
Okay, well, we'll get off on the topic of immortality. That is a subject for another day.
Yeah, but oh, as well, that bridges over to what I want to talk about was immortality. Yeah, immortality. This dude, this was years ago though, that we dealt with him. It's the older guy, and he called in. I remember the call details though. He called in saying that there are fake cops outside his window, and they all were holding tasers, and they're pointing it into his window, and they're about to shoot him with tasers.
I don't remember this at all.
No?
Nope.
Yeah, that was the call details that came out. He said there's that, and there's also a person on the roof.
Wait a minute. 2-story house?
No, just a one-story house.
Then no.
Okay, and then you were there though. I'll jog your memory. So we get there, and this dude is standing outside, and is in his driveway. Mind you, this is about 1 a.m, and he's looking up top like this. He's looking up top of the roof of his house, and he's like, I forgot what.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about dude? Yeah, I think you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He said like that lady was in the tree.
Yeah. I forgot his name, but we'll call him Crazy Joe, because we dealt with him a couple of times. So
I haven't heard from him. I wonder what happened. Anyways,
I think he moved, but
Hopefully.
it was Crazy Joe, and he's standing out in the driveway.
That cops were outside. I don't think that was one.
No. He said it was cops. Yeah, he said it was uniformed people. He went from ninjas to cops to ninjas.
Oh.
So he ninja cops. Yeah, there you go. But he stood in the driveway. And he was looking up, and he was like, I don't know what.
I remember because that one. If he was standing outside of his driveway and he was looking into the tree, and he was like, "Hey, tell that lady to come down."
Yeah. It's like 1 a.m. Like, what?
What are you talking about?
He's like,
that lady on my tree. You need to tell her to get down. It's like, sir, there's nobody in your tree.
Yeah.
It's like, I shot my flashlight up there and see there's nobody in your tree.
He's like,
he goes, oh, okay.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe my anxiety. That's the first. That's a clue. He goes, we're standing on the front door, and he's telling us about these things. We're like, man, I'll be honest with you, we don't see it. There's nothing there. And he's like, oh yeah, you right. I just recently ran out of meds, and it's probably my anxiety letting me see these things. So he's conscious of this.
Yeah.
But still,
scary.
He's hallucinating so bad that it's so real to him. You know what I mean?
I remember that. He goes, so you're telling me those people standing next to your car, they're not there? No, bro, there's nobody next to my car. He was like, oh my God. He goes, I'm messed up.
That's what he was saying. But the things that he was seeing was nuts, man. Yeah. So we started outside. He looks up. He does that. We go into the front step, and that was right. He saw, I think he said it was 2 or 3 people back at our car.
Yeah.
But he did say there was officers back over there pointing tasers at him. And he was saying that they're the same people that was outside the window pointing at him.
What if he's like the kid from like The Sixth Sense?
Oh, he can sense
dead people.
He sees dead people.
Yeah.
He saw some crazy dead people, okay? Because we went inside. Do you remember what he said he saw? Yeah. Okay, so we went inside, and sure enough, he actually had a person living with him. It was, I guess, like either some kind of, I don't know the relationship, but she was living there with him.
She was a moocher.
Probably. But we woke her up, and she's like, oh, what's going on? And she's like, oh, is Crazy Joe doing his thing again? And it's like, yes. Does this happen often? Yeah, he just recently got out of his meds, so he's been seeing a lot of things. But when he's on his meds, he's fine. So it's like, okay, I get what's going on. But then he goes inside and he goes, hey, look in that dog cage. Looking in like, I don't see anything, man.
There's nothing in your dog cage.
It's like, you sure you don't see that woman? I was like, I mean, other than the person that, was sleeping on the couch.
Wait, that one?
Yeah. He's like, no, not her. I'm talking about in the dog cage. And I'm like, nah, bro, we don't see it, man. He's like, it may be my anxiety, but I'm telling you, they're right there. Look at them. Look at what they're doing right now. We're like, dude, there's nothing there. He's like, yeah, they are. They're bent over doing some. Oh, okay.
No, that was in his room.
Yeah, no,
that was in his room. He's like, they're going at it in there in the room right there. It's like there's nobody in there, bro.
Yeah, cause so he was saying that there's a naked lady bent over inside the dog cage.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And then we pushed back, and he's like, yeah, there's also people on my roof right here. There was a hole in the roof.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know the reason why, but there was a hole in the roof. And he's like, yeah, man, they're crawling out of there. And I was like, oh, God, this is creepy stuff. People are crawling out there, and they're attacking me while I sleep, and they're attacking her while she sleeps. And
He's like, no, they're not.
no, yeah. It's like, no, I don't see anything, man. He's like, you sure? Because I can see them. They're looking at me right now. And, you look up, you're like, oh, God.
What if it's true, though?
Yeah, you're like, I don't see anything, man. I think you're good. And then we push over to his room. He's like, all right, man, just check under my bed for me and check in my windows just to make sure there's nothing there. And he's like, yeah, because I saw some of the people that crawled out. That's where they went. We're like, okay. Check under it. Don't see anything again. And I'm like,
That's all good, bro.
yeah, it's like, oh, good. He's like, oh, yeah, it's probably my anxiety.
Your bedtime story?
Want me to tuck you in real quick?
Yeah.
Check your closet, too. That's what it felt like, though.
That's what it felt like.
Because, sometimes the best situation, not the best solution to all this, but sometimes the best thing to do is just tell them up front, man, you just don't see anything. And then a lot, from my experience anyways, a lot of times these people are like, yeah, you're right. I don't see anything. But I probably should start taking my meds. Like, yeah.
Probably should.
Yeah, you need any medical help? Nah, I'm good. I just probably need to get on my meds. Okay, cool.
Remember the lady with the cameras?
Yeah, I was about to bridge it over that, bro.
God.
So I think we dealt with him a couple times until I think he started going on his meds again. Yeah. And then so that's why we stopped hearing from him.
I think he finally moved. I don't know.
Or moved.
He could have been.
Because I think I heard him calling again.
It was the same street,
recently.
But I don't think it was him. I don't think he's gone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where he went.
Well, I guess his ordeal is normally at nighttime. We don't work midnights anymore.
It is right.
So,
it's usually during night.
So, but that being said, we had a very notorious lady. Like, if you came to this side of town, you would know of her, and you would respond to this house, and we would give you the chance to talk to her before you would tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Until it got kind of out of hand what she was doing, right?
Fire my lasers. Yeah.
She did fire. So we went to this house, man, so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Now, every single time it was the same thing. So this lady, she seemed perfectly normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She seemed perfectly normal, except she was not all there. Like, not all there in the head. Because every time she'd call in, she'd call about lasers hitting her security cameras.
And not just her security cameras, also her light bulbs. The lasers would burn out her light bulbs.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Mm-hmm. So she set up security cameras everywhere just because she felt like people were going to her backyard and trying to break in and do all this stuff. And then she was complaining on the neighbors. She was getting into fights with, that's right. She was getting into fights with neighbors.
Yeah.
Because she was going, yeah, my neighbors keep on shining a light and a laser into the camera, into my lights, and it keeps on burning it out.
Now, I remember that because I actually deduced this. This is the funny thing about it. She was like, look at the camera. And we looked at the camera, and I sat there for a little while. And sure enough, there's something glisten.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what the hell is that? So go outside. I said, look, there's a camera. I look into the backyard of the neighbors. It's actually a lamppost.
Oh, really?
It turns with the wind.
Oh,
and it does it just right to where the little part of her light hits it and just glares back at the camera.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember that. I was like, genius.
Ma'am, I am a detective, Michael here.
I couldn't even tell her because it wouldn't even.
Yeah.
It's just
because she was so adamant that her neighbors were destroying her equipment with lights and lasers.
Yo, the FBI on him too because apparently he has a cloaking device.
Oh. I totally forgot about that. Yeah. She was like, yeah, you see him right there in the camera right now? He's cloaking himself. We're like, what? It's like, yeah, he's standing right there right now, shining his light, and he has some kind of, FBI cloaking, like kind of like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What was that blanket called?
Yeah, I forgot the name.
Hey, what was that blanket called?
Hey man, cameraman's useless too. But it was the invisible cloak or something.
Yeah, I think it was the invisibility cloak.
Yeah,
Anyways, but that was crazy. I was like, what?
Oh, that's
He's
right.
got
Because we went out there and
cloak.
checked on that too. But she kept on calling about the same incident. We had to go out there and tell her every single time.
No.
We got a bunch of, because we have in our department itself, we have a special unit that deals with the people who are just not all there, right? So MHMR, and we actually forwarded to them, but it got to the point where it was getting so absurd and so crazy the things she was doing. She actually
Don't know how she did it, but
somehow she bought a gun. Now we don't know if somehow, literally, somehow that's kind of scary, you know.
Oh, you know what's so crazy? This lady called so much that she also even knew, what was it, like lieutenants?
Oh, the lieutenants and the captains, because they had to go out there and talk to her too.
They did.
And see, she somehow got a hold of a gun, and she was having one of her episodes, if you will.
Yeah.
She went to her backyard and fired. Now,
How many did she do? I can't remember.
I think it was 1 or 2 shots, and it wasn't. She didn't hit anything, and I don't know which direction she was shooting at, but I remember this because after that we were like, oh god, there's this crazy lady with a gun,
Yeah.
and she's
seeing things and she's gonna shoot somebody.
She's gonna either shoot somebody or she's gonna shoot us, while we get there. So it got to a whole big ordeal with her, but
Luckily, one of our officers did a report to where they finally were able to go down there and check on her.
yeah, so it took a lot of effort on our end and a lot of paperwork, but we finally, I believe, got her the help that she needed. And because I haven't heard from her in a long, long time now.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and she called during the day, so we would be dealing with her. So yeah, it's been a while since we heard anything. So I'm assuming that she either moved or I say moved just because we haven't heard from them, but
Hope. That's hopeful.
yeah. So either moved or got the help she needed, which I hope she did, because she was smart and she was capable of handling herself, but I think it just got to the point where she was seeing things that are not really there, and just to put into detail how she would write down. Because she would watch the cameras,
she would watch the cameras and write down times of everything that she would see.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like any kind of
measure. It was like
yeah, it was.
What is this?
It was like at 23:04.5 seconds, I've noticed my neighbor has shined a light on my camera. At 23:05.7 seconds, I've noticed that my camera is dead. 23:09. It's back on, or something like that. It was a whole. She had a notebook of it. It was just so freaking much. And then she showed it to us, and we're like,
I think we need to leave.
Yep. He was like, okay, well, we're gonna get out of here now. But I remember dealing with her, and then we're like, so it was either way. We're like, hey, we don't see anything, but are you good? And she's like, yeah, I guess so, we're good. And then we also had another officer who came up and was like, you sure? Because literally, I think you're crazy. Remember that one?
Yep.
And
she got so heated up.
Oh my gosh, she got so mad. That's why I'm saying that she was a smart person, but for some reason, that dude
she was crazy.
Yeah, that officer just had to go and tell her that she's crazy and she needs mental help. We still work with him.
But it was the truth.
Yeah, it's true, but sometimes that doesn't help. But yeah, so we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna talk about Georgia and what happened in there. And man, that was crazy.
Yep,
it's a crazy video. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the second half. So, like I said earlier, we're gonna talk about Georgia and the incident that happened.
How long was this?
I think the footage was released like recently, like within the last week. So it's crazy. If by the time this episode gets out, I'm pretty sure it'll be a couple weeks already. But there was an incident that happened in Atlanta, Georgia, and now kind of bridging off of what we explained earlier about call details, about not telling you about what everything was.
Yeah.
So, from what I read and the research that I did was, I mean, it's just insane. But the details came out. A person called, okay, and said, "Hey, I see my." I
It was her sister.
It was her sister, right? See my sister on the floor, and she's bleeding, and I think she said she's pregnant. And so everyone's like, "Oh my God, sounds like a medical call, you know?" And she's like, "Yeah, and she needs some help." So all these officers respond, and they're like, "Oh God!" And they find her. They find her. They were outside. They could see inside the garage because the garage had like a little like glass
little
panel.
windows, yeah, little things right there on the garage.
Which I guess it's common over there, but I've never seen that before over here. But so they get there and they see that. And so, since a person's life was in danger, they saw that exigent circumstances were there for them to make entry into the house to get to her and see if they can provide aid. And so that's why we had one officer. He goes on the radio first, and either he's talking on the radio or it's to his partners. He's like, "Hey, we've located this person. We see her in the garage. I'm about to make forced entry." And then so everyone there in the beginning believed that it was a medical call. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, "Oh gosh, this is a medical call. We got to get in there and help her out."
Yep.
And so he goes over, he kicks in the front door. But what had happened was the first kick, he stepped inside and he started heading to the right because that's where she was compared to where he was. But the moment he stepped inside the home, shots were fired. You know, it goes pop, pop, pop. You can hear it in the video, and you can see it in the video. And he falls to the ground, and he got hit on the hip, and he got hit in the chest. But I think the hit that he got hit on the chest, I don't know if his vest protected him from it or not, but those are the two areas that got hit.
You know what? I think it did. Because
yeah.
The way, I mean, he ended up surviving.
Yeah.
At the end of it, but so I think that hit to the chest protected him.
So from there he crawled into the garage. So that was the first officer, and of course, while the shots were ringing, there was another officer who was standing outside, right? Mm-hmm. And they're still like, "Whoa, what's going on?" You know, still at shock status. And then the second officer, who was right outside, he started backing up because he was getting shot at that point. He was like, "Pow, pow, pow, pow." He was like, "Oh God!" And so he stepped all the way back from the door, and he was far back, and still,
bullets were off of one of the columns.
Yes, you saw that, right? The bullet hits the column, and you see the smoke from the bullet where it hit. And he was like, "Oh, whoa, okay." And so he steps out of there and gets out of the fatal funnel in that whole area. And then that's when they start posting up with officers on scene. And so they had a third officer over there. He went out and got his long gun or his AR, and he posted behind a tree. And he was looking at the front door, so he had cover. He had cover with the door, and then the way he was doing with his tactics, it was, from what I seen, was sound, man. And he was aiming down to see if he could see anybody, but he didn't even see anybody. And before he could really do anything, he got shot in the hand.
Yeah.
So that fool was in there, and it was like an ambush situation because he had all the advantage, man. He knew where everything was. They had no idea where he was.
And the other thing is we don't know how many other people are inside the house.
Yeah.
It's a bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And so even at, like, in the beginning, when the second officer, he was backing up away from the fatal funnel while he was getting shot at, you can see he was calling on the radio. He's like, "Yeah, we got a guy. Shots fired. We got a guy. We got a guy. We got a guy. We got a guy."
No, he was talking to the officer who was actually on the other side because he was trying to go, I guess, around towards the other side.
Yeah.
But he was telling him, "Hey, you need to don't go that way because." But he was having such a hard time trying to say it's stairs.
Well, he didn't. I don't think he knew where he was. Like for us, we watched the video and we saw a glimpse of him on the stairs. But for him, he had no idea where he was. So that's why.
Maybe he did. I don't know if he knew, but he had a hard time just trying to
say anything. Yeah.
Say
so
something.
That's the shock value, dude. No one was prepared for it because the whole mentality going in there was to go save a life. And so that happens, and then of course what they ended up doing was they tore up the garage door, and the officer was able to.
Garage door made out of wood?
I don't know.
It
It was
like wood.
yeah, that like destroyed a panel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They destroyed a panel and they got him and he jumped out and got him the medical help he needed. So the two officers who were shot, they got the medical attention they needed and they were fine. And then SWAT was called out. Since this happened in Atlanta, I'm pretty sure they got a bunch of resources over there. But SWAT was called out and it was about a
It said 17-hour standoff between the man and the SWAT team.
17 hours. That is crazy. And the end result was not really desired either because it was horrible at what had occurred. So they came in as a medical call, but what had actually happened was this guy had actually killed this female.
Which is actually his girlfriend.
It was his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. So he killed the girlfriend, and she was pregnant with a child. Mm-hmm. And then the mom was in there as well. And during this whole thing, he actually taken the mom as a hostage, if you will. And in the so when the officer that went down inside the home, his body camera dropped inside there.
Yeah, which what's up with that, yo? I mean, usually if our body cameras fall off,
it would turn off.
It would turn off.
So I don't know how.
What kind of camera he had.
Yeah, but that was a neat insight to what was going on inside too, because his body camera fell off, and I guess when he fell down, he was rolling, which makes absolute sense. And you could hear the audio. It wasn't pointing at anyone, but you could hear the audio of the guy inside, and he was like, "Don't come in here. I got lots of rounds. I got 30 round mags. He was calling it clips, but 30 round mags. And I'm going to shoot you. And I got a hostage. So, what? It's crazy, you know. That's a crazy situation. So, it literally went from 0 to 100 right there real quick. But the end result, he shot her, had the mom as a hostage, but ended up shooting her as well. And
there was only the girlfriend and the son in there.
And then but there was a...
No, that's it. Person. Just it was him, his girlfriend, which is the lady that was in the garage, and the kid, the teenager, or was he? I don't know. Actually, I don't know how old he was, but
so wasn't the mom was a teenager? Mm-hmm. So it was another kid.
It was a kid
that he was keeping hostage. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I guess I had that a little bit mixed up, but so he ended up killing the kid too, though.
Mm-hmm.
So
in the bedroom.
Yeah, he killed the kid and then he killed himself.
But I think he killed them before. Like, I don't think he actually had a hostage, to be honest. Okay. I don't know. I mean, it felt like he didn't have a hostage when we were watching that video because, I mean, she's already dead in the garage.
Yeah.
And why is he going to keep him alive?
Yeah. I guess it's just, we'll see if they release a full report and what happened on that. We'll read into it. But that was nuts.
It was nuts.
Because he was in there. He fired a lot.
He's over 100 rounds.
From inside?
From inside.
Dang.
Yeah, that's what I was reading on it. He was fired over 100 rounds.
Yeah. So he was going off, man.
He was going off. I mean, for 17 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Because he even shot at the Bearcat that they have out there.
Oh, they did? He did? So he shot at SWAT, too?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
But it was only like 3 rounds.
So he knew. He had all the tactical advantage because it was a 2-story home. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure he could see them, but that we couldn't see him. You know what I mean? So he had all the advantage. That's crazy, man. And then he ended up killing himself. So we had 2 officers who were down. 1 shot in the hand, 1 shot in the chest, and 1 shot and he was shot in the chest and the hip. And then 3 dead civilians, including the guy.
2 civilians.
Yeah.
1 asshole.
Yeah, 1 asshole, for real. So that is just, all in all, it's just a whole bad situation, and the end result is horrible. The officers are doing fine. Unfortunately, well, he killed those 2 people, so what a dick. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. What's going through your mind that you put yourself in a situation like that?
I don't know. But he already had, supposedly, already a conviction for aggravated assault.
Oh, so he had a lengthy history as well?
I'm not sure if it's lengthy, but it was one of the...
Was it with the same people that was inside the home?
It did not say.
It did not say?
It just said that he had a charge for aggravated assault, and even I don't know if it was a police chief that gave the statement, but they don't even know how he got a gun because he can't have one.
Because he's a convicted felon, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. People are out here like,
But you can I know it's it's gonna be easy for people like him. They know where to go to get it.
Yeah.
It's not. It won't be that hard.
Yeah.
But still,
There's loopholes. There's people out here. People don't understand. There's people out here who make guns in like foreign countries, import it over here, or I'm sorry, smuggle it over here, and they sell it on the streets for
the black market.
yeah, for like, I mean, really expensive, but it's a clean gun. You know what I mean? A clean, you know that's the whole quotation marks, clean gun.
Yeah.
But
what did they? I remember watching. Was it a series on Netflix on how
Yeah.
it goes?
Yeah.
I forgot what they're called. I can't remember the name for the gun.
Yeah.
There's a name for it.
Are you talking about the handgun?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about because I watched that too. I think we were talking about the same thing. But it's crazy how there's a whole network of people, and these people who make it, they're doing it for a living because they need that money, that income, right? So how are you gonna stop that in another foreign country?
Yeah.
So it's crazy, man. There's other ways.
Those guns, like the ones that they make right there, they even throw those away after, so many usage.
Yeah.
Because they know, because they're already smart. There's
Yeah.
the criminals who do that, who know that kind of network, they are smart
Yeah.
and kind of things, but they will give up that gun, throw it away,
Yep.
because they know sooner or later they'll get the gun gets it's kind of like an imprint.
Yeah.
On every bullet that they shoot,
Yeah.
it finally gets one,
Yeah.
and so they have to get rid of it.
So it's basically it ties them back to a certain person, and so they have to get rid of it before that. But yeah, man, there's a lot of smart criminals out there. So people will be like, "Oh man, we ban all guns. That we'll be blah 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 blah." But you people don't realize there's
just still gonna come.
It's kind of like when we
What was it? Was it that? There was one where they banned guns in Australia or something. It was in Australia, right? They collected over 200 and something guns, but there's still a shit ton out there.
dude, you can't collect them all, man.
You
That's no
can't
way.
collect them out
There's
there.
some fool out there like,
Even kangaroos are like,
no.
what's up, bro?
yeah, well, kangaroo pulls it out of his pouch. He's like, nah, not today.
Not today. That kangaroo has a gun.
Yeah, you know what? He's like, hey Joey,
Joey.
Yeah.
Funny pun
Joey.
joke.
pull out the gun, pop this fool, and it's like, that's how it is in Australia. It's like, oh shit. But
Come
yeah,
down,
man,
Joey.
that was great. That's a perfect example of just call details just not depicting the whole story.
Yeah, because you watch the video, and it is obviously just blatant that these officers don't know what they're getting into.
Yeah, they don't.
They
That-
just think they're
that
there
sucks,
to
man.
go in there and help this poor woman. They don't know whether she's dead or alive. They know they need to go in there and go help this lady.
Yep.
But as soon as he kicks it in the door,
Shots were
lo and
fired.
behold,
Yep.
that's
that-
on stairs.
So that fool was waiting for a while, man. He knew it was going to happen. So
I wonder if
that's crazy.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just nuts. I mean, nothing pointed to that situation that they were gonna get in.
Yeah, nothing at all. We had a similar situation. Hopefully, we can get the officer that was involved, and I don't know if he can talk about it, but get him on here and talk about his story because it's crazy.
Who?
A classmate of ours, a good buddy of ours.
Oh, you talking? Oh,
Yeah,
you're talking
that's
about
so-
the one that was like way back when?
Yeah, so this happened.
2 years, 3 years ago?
Yeah, 2-3 years ago. So we in our department we had something crazy happen as well, and it's kind of similar as far as details goes. Okay, so the details came out and they said someone was shot, and then they responded, and sure enough they found this person that was shot, but they couldn't find a gunman. They're like, oh, what's going on? And then I believe it was a family member who said, so and so was here. They may be in the backyard.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's going on? She's like, I have no idea what's going on. So the whole situation itself was very, very, very shady. And I'm pretty sure the call details came out, or from what I heard, the call details came out as just a person who was shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
We need to know whether it was. It
Nah,
could
they
have
could-
been a suicide. Could
Yeah.
be like accidental shooting.
Yeah. they had no other details than that.
Yeah.
And then, so what they did was they ended up doing a safety sweep of the area. And there's just like a tool shed, if you will.
Yeah.
So they went to check it, and sure enough, there was a person there, and the fight was on. You know what I mean? They basically turned a corner to start checking things, and this fool started firing rounds, and it was just bah, 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 bah.
But
And,
from what I heard, he was firing blindly out the shed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he didn't even.
Because they went up there,
Yeah.
and I think, I don't know, they went to, I guess, knock or something.
Yeah.
But he just started firing as soon as they heard that knock.
I don't think they knocked.
I
They
think
probably
he,
just.
or something.
Yeah, they probably heard him like
they
open
probably
the door.
announced it. It's like, hey, please, anybody in there? And then,
Oh, we gotta bleep that out now.
no, I just fucking say
Yeah. But
60
like-
minutes in.
yeah, I know.
Hey, it's gonna sound like I say, fucking police.
Yeah. But so he started shooting blindly. I didn't even know he was shooting blindly. That's freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah, because of what you can hear from the other officer that he just was doing it back too.
Yeah.
Because he was just trying to provide covering fire,
Yeah.
but you don't know where part.
But what ended up happening was our officer got shot. Two of them actually did. One of them got hit a couple of times
Where did he
in
get
the
shot?
arm. I think one of them was in the hip, and then another one was in the leg.
Damn,
but-
so no.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
dude.
bastard.
You know that makes sense for the whole just blindly firing, man. And then the other officer was hit in the chest. So luckily for him in that instance, his body armor saved him, man. That's just crazy thing.
They hit on the metal piece, right?
Dude.
Or the one that's like right there.
Yeah.
Remember.
So it hit directly where his heart would have been. Because we saw the bruise and everything, and it was just
That was a gnarly bruise.
man. He said he was like, well, I didn't expect that at all. You know what I mean? But he pulled out his partner, pulled him out of the fatal funnel. I call it fatal funnel, the danger zone. And that's when the officers responded and then did their own little thing. And the end result was, I believe he killed himself for that incident.
Yeah, that's right. He did. What is up with that?
Yeah, I mean, they see no other way out. You know what I mean? And so you already shot at officers. You already did some. You're gonna either go to jail the rest of your life, or I guess continue fighting for whatever reason. It was just nuts, man. But luckily for us and the department, they recovered well. They're out of the game for a little bit though, just because of the whole situation. But they recovered well, and I believe they're back on the streets working already. Yeah, they were, which is crazy. You know, we had a couple of crazy stuff happen in our department. You know what to think about it.
And you think it would be the choir side of the apartment, but I guess not.
I know, right? Well, I guess because our department's pretty huge. We're a growing city, you know.
Yeah.
Growing city. We're getting up there, and then
We grow too much. We need to slow it
dude,
down a little bit.
you know, it's getting to the point where
I mean, we're already shorthanded, and more people are coming in.
yeah, that's the thing. We're playing catch up. Is basically what it is. So we have an ever-growing population here in the city, because you know we see all this new development and everywhere. It's becoming a more desired place to be, right? And it wasn't like this, you know, so many years ago. But lots of people
make it undesirable again.
make it horrible so people can go away. We have all these crazy projects coming in, and
that's
we're you've been to San Antonio, right?
San Antonio. Yeah.
San Antonios.
I like to call that.
So you know how in San Antonio, Texas, they have that river walk and everything.
Yeah.
So our city's trying to
Do something like that.
work on something like that, and we have
I wonder how long that'll be.
we have an area that's large enough to do that.
Yeah, we do. We do have one.
All right,
Can you imagine, like,
the whole stretch,
yeah, the whole stretch? Like,
man.
you think they will build stuff, like, all around, like, just along it?
So they've already started. If you haven't seen it, they already started building, like, kind of imitating the Riverwalk.
So is it just going to be, like, a whole bunch of restaurants?
Yeah, restaurants, bars.
12,000 restaurants?
Yeah,
All
man.
bars, yeah.
Bars. It'll be crazy, man.
You think they'll have the Segway police?
We're about to join. We're about to join some Segway police, man. You know, that's the thing is we're still playing catch up, right? And I'm telling you now, they're gonna implement this, and probably 1 or 2 years later, once they realize, oh, there's a lot of drunk people over here, and there's a lot of crazy people over here doing crazy stuff.
We don't need another drunk place, like, honestly.
Yeah, so but we're about to have one, and so they're like, oh crap, we need officers over here in this part, so we're gonna have the Segway team.
The Segway team.
Yeah, I'm joining the Segway team, man.
We're
Just think
gonna
about that.
have to, like, they're going to make us, like, Do some tactical shit with it. Just like get out the Segway, like kick it up and put it over his shoulders, run up the stairs, and run down the stairs.
You know, because if people didn't know it, like in bike school, we have a bike school.
Bike squad.
Yeah, and so they teach you how to tactically use your bike as a weapon. I say weapon, but there's certain ways you're supposed to like pedal and then turn and
like jump off it. You know,
yeah.
you do everything tactically.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. And it's apparently a very difficult class itself. Yeah. But it's cool, man. I think I'm gonna want to do that one day.
I'm gonna put training wheels on it.
Put training wheels on. You get to class like, hey,
you got some training wheels?
Can I put some training wheels on? I never really learned how to ride a bike.
See the dude like, the fuck?
Yeah. Get out now. You're not welcome here any longer. But that'd be crazy, man. But yeah, so we're playing catch up in our department, and it's just
you think we'll ever catch up?
No, that's an ever game, everlasting game, and
that's gonna pull in like a lot of profit if they don't want to. That'll help us a little bit.
It could. It could bring in more officers and whatnot. Yeah. Even itself, the process of becoming an officer, it takes a long time.
I heard they expanded it just like by another month.
So like the best way to put it is for us,
because they have to recover from getting tased by the new taser.
Yeah. Dang,
that's like yeah.
So we recently got new tasers, and it is some crazy. Man, Axon is making some crazy tasers, man. This new one that they just released, we got our hands on it, and it's been out on this. Not us yet, but there are a couple officers who already got the chance to get their hands on it and actually use it. It's wow. I mean, just imagine they made it more powerful to where these probes will stick better, and it hurts.
Also, projectile, makes it a lot more. It goes a lot faster.
Yeah, a lot faster.
A lot faster.
So.
This looks like it's like those refrigerator magnet kind of circles.
Is it that big?
With the needle at the end.
Golly, man.
I don't know. That's what he was saying. They're pretty good round.
Yeah. So a story we heard of the first person who deployed the taser, right, was that he hit him in the buttocks.
Was it in the buttocks or the back?
It was in the buttocks.
Oh, was it?
And this fool dropped, and he said, "I'm giving up because you shot me." That's how crazy these tasers was. It hit him so hard he thought he got shot.
Shot in the ass.
Yeah, shot in the butt, man. He was just like, nope. Just like he couldn't keep on running like Forrest Gump, man. He got bit in the butt and he felt.
He could have kept on running. Forrest Gump isn't running though.
No, I'm saying he's not Forrest Gump.
Oh, he's not Forrest Gump. Okay.
That little scene where he's running. He's like, I just got bit in the butt, but I kept on running. So.
No, I just kept on running.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. We're gonna get our hands on that one day.
First day.
Nah. Hope I never have to use the taser again. God, there's so much paperwork involved with all that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I'm just glad they're rechargeable.
Oh, we charge them ourselves now? Oh, that's a new thing because we had to replace the batteries before.
Yeah. And
we couldn't replace it ourselves. We had to go down to get a certain person to replace it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you stick in the thing like the way we do our radios or cameras.
Oh, wow.
Put them in the charging station. And they also had to update.
Oh.
That's crazy, though.
Dude.
It's like, hey, new software update. It's like, what?
Technology is getting crazy, man.
Comes with the side screen. It's
like it has a Siri in it. Hey,
yeah.
Taser.
Like freaking installation 2.0 with Siri now.
Hey, Taser, open up. Okay. But I guess we can talk about it next week, man. Talk about some academy stuff.
Wait, academy stuff?
Yeah. Now that we kind of talked about it, we'll
okay.
We brought up a little bit of academy stuff. I guess next week can talk about how
the good old academy.
Some expectations and or what we expected and what occurred and some stuff like that. That'll be cool to talk about. Maybe we can get someone else to talk with us about it. It'll be good stuff.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
For the people who don't know, we've been doing this for like a couple months now. Like this having a full-time job, and then as well as creating these on our weekends. So it's like it's never stopped working, and it's difficult to to get other officers and everything else because everyone has a busy schedule. Everyone's working and everything else.
Everybody's working.
Yeah.
Want to see us.
So we've had, it's pretty much. No, I don't want to go talk with you, dude. Yeah,
Nah, bro.
that's true. But these episodes take quite a bit of time, and we've been doing this for a couple months now. We have more than 3 episodes, if you want to put it that way.
This is 3 episodes.
Yeah, this is episode 3, but we have more than 3 episodes. It's just a lot of them it couldn't go through because of either technical reasons or a lot of other things. So yeah, man, it's a lot of work to put into this, but it's fun, What I because I was telling people what I want to do with this is just create an outlet for officers to come on, and then just tell a story. You know what I mean? You have a good time, sit around, talk, tell a story, because our profession itself has probably one of the craziest stories that could be out there. Our profession is so awesome that we have the Everlasting Cops, the TV show. People watch this like a religion because
cops.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah.
Old school cops, because every cop has a different experience and every cop has an interesting story because crazy things happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then if you think about it, they also made nothing live PD, which is just the same thing, but just more crazy stuff.
I gotta watch that. I have not yet started to watch that, but according to my uncles and family members, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So that's what I want to do, is create an outlet for just officers to have a conversation and tell some crazy stories, and not be filtered as far as telling the story itself, because that's why I wanted this to be to be free and do whatever the heck we want without consequences.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We're gonna have our department head.
It hasn't came up yet. Yeah. But I don't know.
They'll be like,
was it lieutenant or whoever? We'll
hey,
see how that goes.
I watched your video, and it sucks.
Well, so that means we can still keep going. Right?
Yeah. He's like,
it's like we're not violating department rules, are we?
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, it sucks. So you have to cut it off because it makes my ears hurt. Oh, okay.
Okay.
God, I got you. Alrighty. Well, we'll end this episode here. And just remember, folks, don't do illegal things. Be good to one another, because that's what we're all about. Wholesome message at the end of our horrible things that we talked about. So, end on a good note.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was pretty, we'll end on a humble note. So, just
sit down and be humble.
Sit down. Be humble. Just humble yourself and just know that every day is a learning experience. And with that note, we're out of here. See ya.
Later.